Hey guys, gals, and non-binary pals. It's time for another video, and in today's video, we're gonna jump into the Reddit, are the cis okay, and answer that question on whether they're okay. They're not. They're not okay. They're never okay. Okay, so this first one it's the same old joke because they don't have any new jokes. It's always the same joke over and over again. And it's like that plane feels like a car, and it's like it's 2026. Don't judge it. It feels more comfortable as a car. I'm not, but I do wonder why it's so inconsiderate. Next thing we know, it'll want to park in a regular spot for a car and convert it to emergency land. LOL. The road I used to live next to had Cessnas crash all on it all the time. If it identifies as a car, you have no right to tell it where it can and cannot park. You can park here, mate. How dare you? I'm a car. It's the same old joke. Like, it's nothing original or creative. It's just the same old shit. Like, they only have one joke. And it's like, oh, if you say you're that, then I identify as an Apache attack helicopter. Well, if you identify as that, then you're an idiot. Because that's not even the same thing. An inanimate object is not the same thing as somebody saying that, they're a trans woman or a trans man. But, that would require for, the cis people to have a brain when it comes to this topic, and they don't. And so I guess this is a message back and forth between two people, and the one person's like, "You are weird," and then the other person's like, "Imagine hating trans in the big 26. Come on, we have to grow up, accept it. They can't reproduce." And the person's like, "And that's it. Adopting kids is a thing. Bloodline is also a thing. Trans females are men. Corny ass 50-year-old man. Confucianism at its peak. Reject cringe tradition." I mean, yeah, that person does have a point. You can adopt, and not everybody wants to have kids. So you saying, oh, well, they can't have kids. According to you and your point, like, what exactly is the point that they're trying to go for at this particular, argument? I don't know. But it's like, oh, they can't have kids. Well, technically they could if they had kids before they transitioned. Did you think of that one? But, that would, again, I mean, require a brain. And this one's like, says, isn't that illegal? And the person's like, if I were the landlord and my tenant uses they, them pronouns, I'm going to double that person's rent. They come in 3, 2, 1. Oh, and if you guys want to try to get me fired for what I said, I'll gladly give you the company's phone number. I dare you to get me fired. GameStop, 605-475-6998. I hope that when that person posted it, they did get fired. And the thing is they, them has been used as singular pronouns dating all the way back to the 13th century or even further than that. Like, for instance, if you're in a restaurant and there's, like, let's say a black jacket, since anybody can wear a black jacket, right? And you go to sit down in the booth and there's a black jacket, you're going to be like, well, somebody left their jacket. I hope they come back to get their jacket. See, that's they used in a singular context. So, yeah, it's been used for centuries. Just because you don't like it or don't understand it doesn't mean that you're correct in your assumption. And yeah, that's highly illegal. Say, oh, I'm going to charge them double rent. But this is why all landlords are bastards. I really don't understand the point of not letting your child do something harmless because it's not for boys and girls. I was disappointed when I saw most of the comments agree with the mom. I don't know if this is just me, but I feel like gender roles are becoming more normalized again. Okay, and so the person, let's see what the post says. My son asked to wear makeup, and I said, no, makeup's for girls, but you can have a donut and go play with your trucks. So he did that, and instead, it really is that easy. Yeah, I guess it really is that easy to be a bigoted fucking bitch. Like, it's very simple and easy. You can go and do that, I guess, if you want to. The thing is, are you going to say the actors in Hollywood are doing something that's for girls because they wear makeup? Are you going to call George Washington, and say, oh, he was in the wrong because he was wearing makeup? Like, your so-called definition of what masculinity is would not fit within that particular century. And let's see what some of the comments are. Someone's like, finally, kids do it because they are confused. You shouldn't make them more confused. You should tell them it's for girls. And so what? If makeup's supposedly for girls and you're like, oh, and trucks are for boys, what, girls can't like trucks? What kind of stupid fucking logic is that? And someone's like, someone with the name and it has the trans flag, Paul Prince, random name, LGBT flag, is watching this with pure rage. Yeah, because you're being a jerk to your child. Like, all your child wanted to do was wear makeup. Like, that doesn't mean they're going to become trans or any LGBTQ. They were just curious about it, but you decided to be a jerk about the whole situation. Okay, so this is like, in other words, uneducated. And it's a t-shirt and it goes, I identify as a conspiracy theorist. My pronouns are told you so. You know, I don't have a problem with conspiracy theories. I mean, at all. Because, you know, me, Diamond Ash, and Kai, you know, talk about a few conspiracy theories on our podcast, bizarre ones. I'll leave a link in the description bar down below to our recent video where we talked about the Mandela effect. We've talked about Roswell at 47. You know, we've talked about conspiracy theories. What I do have an issue with is that conspiracy theories have been infiltrated by right-wing bullshit and propaganda. Like, you know, and what's ironic is a few years back, they had this Pizzagate conspiracy theory where supposedly a pizza place was being used as a pedophile ring and whatnot, right? And they were like, oh, the Hollywood and the elite and all these rich people are, you know, supposedly pedophiles. But now that there's proof that technically they were kind of true and kind of correct, they're like, oh, yeah, I don't believe in it anymore. It's like you were right about the, pedophile ring. It's just the pedophile ring was led by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and all these politicians and a lot of these right-wing jerks. But now they're like, oh, yeah, I don't want anything to do with it or pretend in the conspiracy theories because it doesn't fit my narrative. And so this one's like a screenshot of Threads, I guess, or Twitter or Facebook. I'm not sure. I can't really tell the difference between all these various social medias, right? But it's like, what's the difference between a trans woman and a woman? Let the tolerant crowd explain this one. I'll grab popcorn. And then a person explains it to them. Trans is an adjective. It's a descriptor, like tall or fast or smart. A trans woman is just a woman who is assigned male at birth and then transition at some point in her life. Just like a tall woman is a woman who's taller than the average woman. It's just an adjective. It's really not that complicated. And then, he's like, for instance, you were a stupid, bigoted man, whereas I'm a cool and nice man, and we're both men. I'm just kind of a better type of man. And yeah, you are. Because this person's like, oh, I got thought they had a gotcha moment. And the other guy's like, no, you don't have a gotcha moment. That's just a descriptor or an adjective, if you will. It describes the type of woman, like a blonde woman, a tall woman, or a short woman. So you didn't have anything there at all, honey, at all. And so this one's like, I don't think he understands. And this person's like, at least I don't need a surgeon to define my gender. And the other person's like, me either. Because, yeah. Like, it has nothing to do with that at all. But it continue. It goes, oh, so you're just a cosplayer? Men will always be men and women will always be women. No matter what you say, survivor, grow up and face reality. You are what you are. And this person's like, not a woman. And jackass, at least last time I checked, I was born male. All the parts and testosterone and all that. So, yeah, anyways, the thing is now surgery has nothing to do with being a trans woman either. They don't need a surgeon to define their gender. But, I mean, they don't even understand the difference between sex and gender. Like, those are two different things. Gender is a social construct, while sex, there's 3 of them, by the way. With sex, as far as I know, there's intersex, male, and female. And gender, there's multiple of them. Gender is a social construct. And guess what? You can change your sex. That's what surgery's for, honey. And so this is like, you mean a family bathroom? And it shows from some guy named Reed Rasner. And it's like trans bathrooms in Wyoming. This has to stop. And if you look at the photo, it's just an all-gender restroom and also a handicap restroom. That's not a trans bathroom. That's just a family restroom. Walmart has them too, my dude. So I don't know why you're getting upset about the restroom. Like, I guess the restroom hurt his feelings. Like, hey, you can still go use the men's restroom. It still exists. And so this one's like, I wonder if the guys who repost this would do the same thing for their wife or girlfriend. And it's like, some tips for women. Your actions. Learn his love language. Dress up for him. Greet him happily at the door. Wear something he bought for you. Let him choose the movie. Pack his lunch. Smile at him. Make him feel special on his birthday. Surprise him on special anniversary. Anyways, you get the point, and it's like, yeah, would you be willing to do that for your wife or your girlfriend if you're expecting her to do that? See, because how I was raised is what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if you're expecting it from your significant other or others, you should be willing to do it as well. And so this one's like, apparently a Final Fantasy game makes you transphobic. And it's like, so it turns out, for whatever reason, Final Fantasy 14 breaks through the propaganda and makes women go from trans allies to transphobic. I'm getting a bunch of copies and giving them out as gifts to women with trans kids. I don't. How does Final Fantasy 14 make somebody transphobic? And then this person, being transphobic, thinking that's what will happen. Like, I'm gonna give these games to people so, they can turn against their children. And let's see what else. Someone's like, all my time spent on Final Fantasy 14 has done irreparable damage to how I view the LGBT. Why? There's a specific brand of transphobia that the female players in Final Fantasy 14 develop, and I think it's hilarious. You wouldn't be the only one. And this person's like, dead ass. In just 2 years around one in Final Fantasy 14, wife went from trans people should be respected, and it's a good thing when our favorite band waves the flag on stage to wishing they'd all disappear from the earth entirely. I mean, I doubt the game actually does that, but the fact that they're like, oh, I'm going to pass this around to hope that people turn against them and don't want them to have rights. That shows how despicable human being you are. What the fuck? So, I don't know if you've all seen The Amazing Digital Circus. It's a really good series and you should check it out. But anyways, this person's like, wait until they find out that Gooseworks is a trans woman. And someone's like, what do you mean isn't Zubul a woman? And someone's like, Zubul canonically uses they, them in the series and is under the non-binary umbrella, which is true. The character in the Amazing Digital Circus series does use they and them pronouns. And then someone's like, I fucking hate this fandom. It's characters and people made that show. I hope Zubul dies the same way Kane did and suffers for eternity. What the fuck is wrong with you? And, you'd probably be shocked that, yeah, like this person said, is the person that made Amazing Digital Circus is a trans woman herself. So, like, the fact that you have problem with LGBTQIA plus people, and then you're watching a show that was made by somebody of that community. What is wrong with you? And then so this person, I guess, posted a text message, and they're like, I cut out the slurs in reference to violence. And this person's like, it's funny how you call yourself normal, but you can't behave normally. And the person's like, me saying I'm cis and you trans instead of me straight normal, and you trans is very different how it looks. Slur and taking loads of drugs and more is normal. A lot of people take medication for a lot of things, so that's not the gotcha that you think it is. But the person's like, you're both cis and irrational. And the person's like, I'm asked to confirm what I already believe or tell me I'm wrong and the trans has bad reasons trying to enforce the word cis. I don't in bad faith. I just want a proven I'm right. And then somebody's like, honey, that's the definition of bad faith. And they're like, if I'm right, that implies on some level, trans people also did it on bad faith. It could also taint the image of how they look, even if only a little. It was to take away the power from the oppressor, even it out. This other person, I don't even understand what they're trying to say. That it's really, like, butchered English, but whatever. And someone's like, are you admitting cis people are the oppressor? And the person's like, you do not know making cis an active part of daily life or legally and otherwise trans people acknowledged. Before recent years, trans people like gays and blacks even were considered not a minority but a separate form society, not quite human. And yeah, like this person says, is English your first language? And they're like, yes. And it goes, then why can't you speak it? And yeah, why can't this person speak it? Because I don't understand anything the person that was being bigoted was saying at all. Like, I don't understand any of that. Okay, so this one's trans investigating on a Madonna video. Oh, great. And it's like, Madonna's face in his youth has become bony and elongated by his 40s. Professional intervention and hard training. Perhaps due to all the testosterone. I think of the latter because of the manly joy line. And someone's like, her singing voice, on the other hand, is particularly pleasant and clear, and he must have developed it professionally. And somebody's like, she. Wait, so they're trying to say Madonna? They think Madonna's a trans person? That's just weird, my dude. Not all these it's because they believe in this conspiracy that all the people in Hollywood are trans because of some secret satanic ritual or some shit, because they've listened to Pat Robertson for too long, and even though he's dead, their brains are still warped and frustrated. And so this thing is like, trans people and allies are not actually arguing that surgery changes your gender, though. Yeah, it doesn't. Like, that person's gender was what their gender was even before the surgery. So if somebody's gender was a woman and they're a trans woman, even after surgery, they're still a trans woman. Like, they're just changing their bodies to fit what they already were. But this person's like, a Brazilian politician applied blackface on live TV and asked, am I black now? Her point, if makeup doesn't change race, why would surgery change gender? A criminal case has been open. Well, good thing criminal case has been open on her for being outright racist on television. But no, that's not even any... I don't know why they always do this argument. They're like, oh, well, see? Like this, they're comparing apples to oranges. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so I don't know what this is about. I guess they're talking, and this person's like, call them by their preferred name and pronouns and treat them like you treat anyone else. And someone's like, ass/hoe. Just the one joke. That's all they have. All they have is that one same tired old joke, and it never changes because that's all they have. It's not even funny, honey. Like, there's plenty of jokes that you could do that would be funny, but comedy is supposed to punch, up, not down. So this one's like, we can always tell, because yeah, they always like to claim they can always tell, but most of the time they can't, and they try to inject their transphobia into every conversation where it doesn't belong. So it's like, why is everyone pretending this is a dude? And someone's like, because it is, because she said so. Don't make me pull out the attack helicopter. You must really love hating on people, don't you? Nah, I love recognizing basic facts about reality. But your so-called basic facts about reality aren't actual basic facts, because your understanding of biology didn't evolve past 5th grade. So this is one of those moments back in my day. It's like, oh, okay, boomer, back in your day, you guys used to not allow people that were different color skin in your schools, so nobody really gives a shit of what happened back in your day. But this person's like, you drive others be crazy because your identity is a transmission. No, honey, transmission is a part in a car. Just thought you would want to clear that up. And someone's like, it is 2026. Let them identify as trans if they want. The thing is nobody's identifying as anything. That's what they are. But anyways, the person's like, when I was growing up, blowing a tranny meant car trouble. That was so clever. You thought you had something there. And someone's like, still does. Car trouble is their name. One joke, like I said, just one joke. That's all they have. They don't have anything new or creative. It's always the same joke. And they thought they had something there. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to say transphobic things and, sexualize an entire group of people to prove my point. And so this is like unnecessary use of a slur. And it has, Garfield, and it has, what's usually referred to as, John, right? And it goes, Garfield, I'm transitioning. My name is Gene now. And, Garfield really doesn't care, so, about whatever, Gene, is. Garfield just wants his food. And so Garfield's like, why don't you transition my lasagna from the freezer to the oven, Gene? And see, Garfield is, affirming her gender, because Garfield's not a bigot. Unlike this person that says, haha, T-slur with orange cat. There was no need for that, and you didn't have anything there. Like, unlike the comic, which was actually funny and didn't punch down at a group of people, unlike what you said. But, again, that's just all they have. Okay, so this person's like, people hear what they want to hear, and yeah, that's so true. And this person's like, transgender Minnesota Democrat Representative Leah Fink argues that restricting children's access to pornography is harmful. I've seen the video. That's not what it said. And this person actually says that. They're like, literally didn't say that at all. Actually said that sex education is good for kids. And this law is made to destroy legitimate sex ed. Right-wingers don't want kids to learn sex education because it helps prevent kids from being sexually assaulted. And yeah, that's not... I seen the video and that this person's talking about, and no, that Democrat representative didn't say that. She was saying that some things, when people look up about their trans identity and look it up online, it might be blocked because of this law. And so she argued, that it might not just block pornography, but it will actually block sexual education and block of them finding out who they are as people. And so this person's like, you clearly don't play it, right? And let's see, it was a tweet, right? And this person, it was on Reddit. And it's like, do these people even play the game? Because the question was favorite character who is trans or trans allegory. And this person's like, do these people even play the games? Apparently you don't, because Bridget there is a trans allegory. Just saying. And so it's like, stop shoving gender ideology down our throats. Also transphobes, which is true, is transphobes will talk about, shoving gender ideology down people's throats, which gender ideology is not a thing. It doesn't exist. Fighting for somebody's rights is not an ideology. But transphobes is like, be content with your body. Trans women are men and trans men are women. And it's West Bureau Baptist Church. Like, why are you sharing something from West Bureau Baptist Church that most likely would hate you as well? Because they just hate everybody. And then they put, like, some, quote from 1 Timothy 6:6, godliness with contentment is great gain. What makes you think that anybody gives a shit what your Bible says? Your Bible does not get to legislate how the country works. Like, you think it does, but not everybody believes in your Bible or your God. So maybe you shouldn't shove your religion crap down, people's throat. Because, Karl Marx said religion is the opium of the masses, and I'm starting to agree with him. So that's all we have time for this video. If you like this kind of content, make sure you give this video a thumbs up or comment in the comment section of what you thought of any of this content. And remember that this is a safe space for all marginalized groups, so don't post your hatred or your bigotry in the comment section, because your comment will be deleted and you will be blocked. Just saying. But anyways, if you want to see more of this content, more content from me, Tonya Kitsune, or content from Diamond Ash or Kai, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can join the Fox Den and become part of the Fox Den, and that notification bell to be notified of future content just like this video. Anyways, thank you for watching, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. We'll see you in the next video.
We are every single star, still here. Trans women, trans men, non-binary and free, still here. You can legislate the document, but you can't legislate me, still here. SB 14442, weapons in one bill, double barrel, double threat. Invalidate the IDs and ban the bathrooms, make them sweat. Now any stranger on the street can sue a trans person for $1,000 fee, just for suspecting, just for looking. That's a bounty hunter regime. Use the restroom twice in the wrong place. That's a